Hey, what's up? It is Toni. Welcome to the Before the Pop podcast. I have somebody really dope today. You know, I'm excited every week about who I have, and this week is no different. So today I have a very good friend of mine who is let me tell you, I got to look at the list because it's long. Creative director, project manager, artist manager. She's it, baby. She all the things. She works with a ton of amazing people. Tammy Franklin, Jay Ivory, the Red Ends Band, Jean Moore. She's a project manager for Tilly Man Incorporated. Just all the things. So please welcome my friend, without further ado, Faith Anderson.
What's up?
Hey. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So I've been trying to get Faith on for a little bit now, but she just, I'm doing so. Okay, what about this day? You got, how long it take? So today she decided she was going to squeeze me in. She going to the airport after this. So this might be the shortest episode you see, but I'm happy that she's here. So let me tell you something about you. I met Faith in high school. In Oklahoma, where we're from.
Yes.
Faith is one of the sweetest people I know. Like icky sweet. Like sticky, like you probably got sticky stuff on this couch.
Icky sweet.
Yes, icky sweet.
That's some Tulsa right there.
Huh?
That's some Tulsa.
That's some
icky
Tulsa
sweet.
stuff, icky sweet. Like icky sweet and very genuine, solid, consistent, all the things, and can sing her behind off. We like, you work with all of these people, but and sings really high. Really high, like a real soprano. But we used to sing in choir at school, and it is just amazing to see how, because you were what's funny is we had to stop a little bit because he said she's more soft-spoken than your other guests. So, and she talked louder than she did in high school, right? Because you used to be so quiet.
Now I do. Yeah, I was
so
very
quiet and you were just bomb, right? And so nothing has changed, but yet I'm sure in what you do, there's a sweetness, but yet assertiveness.
Yeah.
Assertiveness.
Got to build some thick skin in this entertainment business.
Yeah, you do. So the purpose of the podcast is to give people, to hear people's stories before they popped, right?
Ooh.
And before they are where they are right now, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks that it happens overnight, and that nobody hits snags, and that it's just this straight line to success, and that's a lie, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I want to know. What were you doing before you got into management, project management, all of that stuff? What was your, were you sing, because you sang professionally after high school. Who did you sing with?
Kirk Franklin.
You sang with for a long time, right?
Yes.
How long was it? Like,
sometimes I like to track this by albums.
Okay.
My first album with him was Rebirth.
Okay.
And then my last project with him was Losing My Religion. And those are his projects. And I think subsequent, when he's writing for others, a few may have come with Marvin Sapp, and some soundtracks that he's written on. But in terms of his records and touring with him, I think I have about a 10 to 12 year career. And then from then in 2012 is when I started my company.
Got it. So you've been in the game a while.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you transition out of doing the project, out of being an artist?
Mm-hmm. I would say what made me transition was he exposed me, and by he I mean Kirk Franklin exposed me to a world that I knew not of. You know, of course, when we were in high school, Janice Bayouth was preparing us for that world.
Baby.
Okay. And
shout
that's
out to Janice Bayouth.
Come on, Janice. That's like our white mama.
Yeah.
And so,
right.
Even to this day, she is like on our socials.
Listen.
Building us up. Like, whatever you're doing, we want to amplify this,
so bomb.
you know, in Oklahoma. So she saw our potential very early on, and she was grooming us for this life. I just didn't know the executive part of myself was going to grow, and I would, convert into that space. But when I decided I wanted a change, is really because Kirk kept us around powerful people, and one of his managers, Jesse Hurst, just was a solid father-like figure to me on the road, because I was very, very green to
sweet
all this,
right.
And he protected me. He was someone to where when we went on tours, he would tell production, he would tell the band if it changed out, that one right there, leave her alone.
See, that's so great to have somebody, because you need somebody that's yeah, okay, so leave her alone.
He was protecting me from things I didn't even know I needed protection from.
Got it.
And then from there, he would, I guess, kind of shout me out, because I didn't know the wrong things to do, so I was always doing a lot of things right. Meaning, I wasn't perfect, but I'm just saying, I didn't miss a flight. I was on time. When I received my per diem, I was stacking my per diem. baby. When they taught me about like Marriott points and all my airlines, listen, I was like, oh, this is what you do? Oh, this is how you get these benefits? So I was learning, and I was doing the thing. I wasn't getting caught in a lot of stuff that can happen in that tour life. And when you tour with a Kirk Franklin versus other gospel artists, he is somebody that can really operate in mainstream, and you can have a mainstream experience with him.
Yes.
And we did. Like, touring with Kirk Franklin that could be an 18-month thing. And
which is probably honestly, unheard of in gospel.
Yeah. If I didn't live it, I wouldn't believe that.
You'd be like, somebody lying.
And I mean, Jesse would create these tour books that would be books, page by page, hotel, venue, all the things that you need to know. We will be shipping things ahead of us to get to our next location and building these relationships with these hotels. I mean, because we were literally living from our suitcase to a hotel.
Wow.
And the bus was our home. So that prepared me for like loving the life, but also loving the people and wanting to protect them in a different way. And when I learned from him how to operate in this space, I always said I wanted to be the female version of him. And then at some point, he had a medical event that took him off the road, and I would just find myself wanting to fill in the gaps with our crew. And I would get advice from him, how to do this, how to do that. And from that, the love just kind of, the seed was sown, and it just began to grow. So then when I graduated from college is when I actually met Kirk. And I was actually about to take my finals when I got the invitation to be on Rebirth album.
Knee deep in it. Y'all ready?
Most people would think, a diva mood would be like, I can't do it right now. But I was literally saying, okay, I would love to do this, but I'm in the final stretch of getting my degree. I can't Can I please come back later? And me and Sean Martin were in college at the time, and we were both going through finals. And we was like, we can't come to rehearsals just yet. And Kirk wanted us so bad, because I think he had a series of auditions, and he just found his niche with us, that he waited for us to get through our finals before we started Rebirth rehearsal.
But it says a lot because think about how many people just leave college like, I holla. It says a lot about the character of y'all to be like, I gotta finish this off. Like, I can't, like, this is great, like an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, well, you can't come from a school like ours, Booker T, and not end up with a degree.
Yeah, listen.
Like, the pressure was on.
Yes.
And if your life after Booker T didn't result in a degree, it needed to result in something big.
That was me.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, like I said, but it's, it worked out. But
yours was pretty big, Toni. I would let you have that.
Let me have it.
People like, Seth to get the degree, but you had a whole
It just worked
thing.
out.
Like, we
thank
were
God.
watching you from hijinks.
I just was talking to my
So
kids
Whitney
about
Houston-
hijinks.
What?
Listen, they let me do hijinks. So hijinks, y'all, just to let y'all know, is a talent show
Mhm.
that they used to have at the high school that I eventually went to. And it was huge, right?
Because it was at night and people paid tickets.
People bought tickets,
Yeah.
right? And it would be packed, like cars
Yes.
forever, right? They let me sing in hijinks when I was in the 8th grade.
See, this was unheard of.
I was
she
like-
wasn't even in high school. She
I was like
she was
a
at
special
Carver.
guest. I was at Carver. Yes, I was at Carver. Yes, but we did have a really unique
Mm-hmm.
upbringing, like as far as like high school and middle school. And the thing that I really like about our high school was it was very diverse.
Yes.
But yet everybody was all in together. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like it was a really, I realize how unique that is now
Yeah.
that I have kids in school. But yeah, no, that's really, really dope.
Yeah.
So you said, okay, let us wait. He waited.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went on the road. You learned everything that you learned. Not everything, but you learned a lot
Yeah.
from your mentor. So once you came off tour and you said, I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna do what did you do? I ask everybody this question. How did you feed yourself? Like,
Ooh.
did you have
That's a good question.
did you have a regular job? Did you
Mm-hmm.
see?
Yep.
Okay, what did you do in your regular job?
So my degree was in biology because I had a strong hope of becoming a physical therapist. I have a nephew that is on the spectrum,
okay.
and he needs occupational therapy. And at the time, he was younger. And I was gonna be, this is my problem. I'll be trying to save
That heart,
everybody.
girl,
I'm trying
a
to
bleeding
fix
heart.
everything.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna get a whole career for my nephew.
Yeah.
I love he. So
I love he.
So I was put on a waiting list at UNT and Texas Wesleyan, and in between waiting, I needed to get a job. So my minor was in finance, so I got a degree. I got a job at Bergdorf Goodman in the credit department.
Oof, yes.
So I was handling.
Did you get a discount on this?
But could I afford even with the discount?
Because Bergdorf is that's a different.
Listen,
level,
between
right?
Neiman's and Bergdorf, I got a whiff of how the rich and the wealthy spend.
Right, you be like,
Because you be
ooh.
looking at these credit charges, you're like, oh, that was a pencil?
Oh,
That
okay, they
is
got
like
pencils out there.
3 months of my rent.
Listen, on a pencil.
Oh, that
baby.
was a t-shirt, a V-neck?
Don't got nothing. It don't have nothing on it. Just a V-neck,
Just
white.
like, oh my God.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I knew it was money out there to be made.
Right.
But that's how I learned like my customer service and how to, kind of appeal to a different, economic
Clientele.
class. And then I was promoted, and I just went ahead and wanted to make more money. So I applied for this job at a mortgage company. And they gave me like my first offer letter. Girl, my first offer letter, I was making $38K a year.
Baby, thought you was like, oh, I'm about to go get one of them pencils.
Yes.
You be like, you ain't gonna have
Ooh.
much left, girl.
Listen, I called my mom. I was like, Mama, look at this offer letter, $38K. And she was like, you better do it, Faye. You go ahead. She's so encouraging.
She was you, the grown virgin.
Yes.
You better do
You
it,
better
baby.
do it. That's my girl. I was like, ooh, I'm doing it, Mama. And I'm thinking I could get car insurance. I could get a luxury apartment. Listen, no. I just had to pace myself.
You be
I
like,
could get the apartment, but I couldn't get the furniture,
Get the car, but not the insurance. Like,
Yeah,
well,
it
but
was,
yes.
it was a little slim.
Right,
So I got a whiff of life after, that.
Right.
But I started excelling in that and being more professional. So, utilizing my degree to,
Right.
get me jobs. But when you're in mortgage, one of the ultimate goals is to work for the largest investment firm in America, which is Fannie Mae.
Right.
So I secured that job, and Fannie Mae was so gracious that they just liked me. I showed up every day. I always bonused. They depended on me because I was able to achieve for them. And when I was hired, they gave me a laptop. So working remote was not, unfamiliar to me.
Right.
And they gave me a BlackBerry.
Baby, you was cooking with gas. Okay?
Listen, let me tell you. So when they gave me that laptop and that BlackBerry, when it was time for me to negotiate touring, Jesse would put me on the production bus sometimes, or he would ensure that the tour bus that I was on, which would be the girls' bus, had internet. And so while everybody else was sleeping and stuff like that, I was in my bunk.
Doing files for Fannie Mae. Listen, that is so see, nobody talks about that. Nobody says, because it feels like it just nobody talks about that. And
all my roommates would be like, "Hey, turn that light out."
You be like,
because I'd be okay, and then I'd be under my covers, like on my laptop, doing, and you can hear my nails like hitting the
click clack, and they like, golly, we can't do. That's but that's really, really dope. Like, because people feel like I'm just gonna quit my job and I'm going. I mean, and it's like you can, but it's like sometimes you end up being more stressed than you need
Toni,
to be.
Like everybody in this industry, when the money stops, it stops. It ain't no retroactive. It ain't no 2-week delay. It's when your last gig is your last gig.
Yes,
the money is there's
done.
No credit. You have to take care of yourself.
Yep.
And when we left Tulsa, as great as our school was, the economy was not there for us.
Right.
It was very seldom that you saw a Black family, excelling financially. If you lived in Gilcrease,
where my daddy lived right there.
You see, your daddy was rich. Listen, okay, because we was living on the north side.
I grew up out north. Okay. Please believe.
So yes. Turley and all that.
So yes.
So I'm being real ghetto saying
No.
Turley.
I love Turley. Like, you really from Oklahoma when you talk about Turley. Like, you Black Oklahoma when you talk about Turley, baby. Yes.
So it's like if you didn't want to be, a store clerk or working at Circle K or, Walmart, even teachers are paid so much less than Texas.
It's insane.
It's just very hard to really make a good living and not, get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I was just determined not to go back to Tulsa,
and it's unfortunate, but that is the God honest truth. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to have I have a cousin that's a caterer and she does well, works her, but there's that's far and few between.
Yeah.
It's
really tough.
So
that was my motivation. I was like, I will sleep in this car.
Yeah, before I do that.
Before I go back to Tulsa.
It
just cannot happen. And I think with that type of determination, I think that's what Kirk and Jesse saw in me, to where they would, allow me to work things out.
Right.
They always came with the offer, and they were like, "Okay, Faith, tell us, can you do this tour?" And I was like, as long as I can keep my job,
listen,
I will go on the road with you.
Yeah.
And I did it for so many years. I kept that job at Fannie Mae for 14 years. It's only been since 2020 that I separated from Fannie Mae, and I've been 100% a full-time entrepreneur now.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, and you make it look, and 2020 is like, that was like a tough, you be like, is this? Yeah, that was everybody's wondering, are we going to survive? Or, okay, so let me ask you this. What is, as far as getting into so the name of your company is 10th Child Productions?
10th Child Inc.
10th Child Inc. Okay. Mm-hmm. Give us the significance of 10th Child. I think that's a great.
Oh, wow.
Do you care about sharing that story?
I can.
You can do a short version of it, yes.
So I'm the 10th child of my parents. My parents were married for 54 years. And it's sometimes I say this is really their testimony, because my mom and dad, early on, they began to, the Lord told them they would have children. And, of course, they had visions of having their own family as a young couple. However, my dad had like a rare blood type. Like, I think for a Black man, being O positive is rare.
Okay.
And she had RH negative, that factor in her blood. And so they would have children, but their children wouldn't make it. And so she would have to bring these kids to term. And long and short, she had 10 children. 7 of them passed before me. And there were my brother number 1. He was named after my dad, Kenneth Jr. He lived to be 1 year old. My mom went into labor with my brother Keith. Mm-hmm. And the same day that she gave birth to him, my brother, my first brother, he passed away of pneumonia in the hospital. So my dad was in the ER with my brother, and she was in labor and delivery with my other brother. And as we've grown and I've looked at like all the, the birth, the death certificate, we reconciled that, the death of my first brother and my birthday of my second brother are the same. And since then, she was a woman who just knew that God said she was going to have a daughter. And people if you are in church culture, there's someone like a prophet who will speak, to you and reaffirm your dreams. Mm-hmm. And several prophets told her that she was going to have a daughter. Imagine her having 4 daughters and having to let them go and still holding on to that promise. And she continued to believe God for that. And the day that I was born, which was December the 10th, I was born and I wasn't breathing. I wasn't showing signs of life. So my dad tells the story that he just said, Lord, I will serve you. I will surrender my life. We cannot go through this again if you save this child. My grandfather prayed for me. And then I began to cry and, move. And that's how I got my name. My dad named me Faith. And that's 10 Child Inc. So in my mind, I feel like I could be that midwife. I could be that person that will, my mom and dad told me that one of the prophets said that they will have a daughter, that I was born to be a blessing, that I will be a midwife to dreams, that God was going to give me wealth so that I can take care of people. And that is what they've been living with. Now, all my life, of course, we came from, the lower class, and mm-hmm. I have learned to enjoy middle class mm-hmm. life, and through working really hard. But God has never, he's always been a provider. Like I've always been able to take care of myself without having a husband or, depending on my parents. They've blessed me. God has always blessed me financially, but I've always had this big heart to kind of subsidize and help and build and do all that type of thing. So ever since they told me that, I feel like whatever I get in terms of lump sums and all that I need to be building. And it does need to multiply because I got to do it
again,
all over again.
Like, yes, that's so amazing. Mm-hmm. That's a bomb. That's a purposeful company name. Like, I like that. Mm-hmm. I love it a lot.
At first, I thought it'd be cheesy, but no, it means a lot. It meant a lot to my parents that I would acknowledge my own testimony, being theirs. It meant a lot to them, so they loved it.
Yeah,
so
I know. Like,
I'm a sick.
Did she like Faith? Like, I love it. Yes, you. Okay. Okay. So tell me this: what has been? So when you decide to go into a thing, like, okay, this is I like this. Essentially, you walking in your purpose based on mm-hmm. what your parents told you about. Just the prophets and all of that stuff. So helping people and managing people and birthing things mm-hmm. and being a midwife is a whole thing. And that's one thing to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. But to actually get a client is something else.
Yes.
So what was the most challenging part of acquiring your first client? When you established your company, did you get any pushback, or was it like one that was just kind of like a natural, this is going to be my client, and or?
Well, one, I think I just had to recognize that I was worthy of the type of client that I wanted to have. Because sometimes you'll have that, what do you call that? Is it imposter syndrome? Where you are feeling like I'm not qualified, or you just in your mind, you just disqualify yourself when you have all of the qualifications.
You should be like,
you got the degrees, you got the experience, you even have the relationship, but you will even question yourself and then just really pull yourself out of the path of what could be your purpose. And I want to say that, you know, life has recently, I have surrendered to it. Like, this thing in me that wants to help build and excel in this space, it won't go away. It is here to stay.
It is here to stay. And
it's just like, no matter what you have to overcome in the industry, because being a woman, being a minority woman, it has its, you know, way. You could be looked over. You could, you know, there's a boys club. There's some gatekeepers. There's, you know, people that will challenge you to sleep with them to excel. And it's just like
that's the last thing. Ooh, that's a,
because I could swear my resume said that I can produce multiple revenue streams. Like, that ain't good enough. You gotta have sex too?
You gotta,
yikes.
Right, fact.
So I'm like, you know, sometimes that can make you afraid. But then I just said, I'm just gonna step out there. My mom said to me, and this was probably July prior to her passing. And prior to her passing, my daddy had just passed about 10 months prior. And she offered me, because I went from, you know, being daddy's girl to being her caregiver. And one day I came home to Tulsa, you know, the mini tornadoes that we sit through. Yes. I had come home because I saw the weather was going to be bad and I didn't want her to be in the house by herself. So I just got in the car and drove home. And sure enough, the electricity went out on the entire street of Cheyenne. And I was glad that I followed my gut so she wouldn't be in the dark.
Yes.
I go in the house and I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, how am I going to take care of you, my company, myself, like all these artists? Like, I was feeling the weight and I hadn't really broke down from losing my dad. I was just kind of very angry about that. And I was walking through the house, and everybody who knows me and my dad, we love technology. And when the electricity ain't on, that will drive us nuts. Okay. Right. So I'm trying to make the iPad work. I'm trying to just do the things that he would do. And I broke down. And I was just like, Mama, why would God leave us here by ourselves? Why would he make me bury my dad without a husband? And
yes, like, I was just, all the human things.
It just fell apart. And with her holy self, she was just like, I've been waiting on you, you know, to break so that you will realize you can't do it by yourself. None of this you were expected to do without the Lord. He's going to provide. And she told me, she said, Faith, you can have everything I have. But if I give it to you, you're going to have to do this 100%. And she said, look at what you accomplished doing 10 Child Inc. on the side. God is going to bless you if you just do this thing 100%. So since then, that's why I say when I separated from Fannie Mae and did this, it's really her words that God's gonna provide. I am not forgotten, even though I had to surrender my parents to him. I am walking in her faith in me, and in his word that says that, you know, nothing that I've gone through is to bring me harm or sorrow. It is for the benefit of my future that I excel and I be prosperous. And so that's where I am today. Seriously. Man. Like, I'm walking on water. With that. And I just heard Lena's song in the back. Like, listen. Seriously. Okay. That is on repeat.
Listen. I don't have mine on. Mine say so much stuff. Like, I'm not sure what
you got to hush.
Like, you better hush, girl. Well, you be like, I'll be like, what's one time I was laughing. It said, what's so funny?
And I thought you had to say, hey, to wake her up.
Yeah,
but now she
I feel like she awake all the time. Like,
listen, hush.
You better, in the name of.
We working.
Man, we working.
You got to be quiet.
You gotta be quiet. Like, that's funny. No, but you really are. Yeah, that's amazing, because you really are walking in. You just stepped out. Like, it's like your mama put a battery pack in your back.
Did.
Like, you like,
I like
mama
that.
said, yeah, like,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope. So you decided, okay, I'm gonna go full throttle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna quit.
Mm-hmm.
So how many clients did you take on? How many clients did you take on during the pandemic?
Well, I was very careful with myself, because when I had to let go of my parents, my therapist was telling me that I needed to make sure that I put the proper boundaries in place. And I didn't know what she meant by that, but she gave me tools. She was like, when you select your client, the boundary is compassion. You need to work with people who have compassion for you. You just lost your dad. You just lost your mom. Your life is not normal right now. Mm-hmm. So they need to let you have a bad day. They need to recognize that some things could trigger grief in you, and they don't need to be so demanding of you that you don't get to go heal.
Right.
So selecting those folks, I had all these tools in my mind to help me select the right type of client. Mm-hmm. So that really was helpful. I didn't even know I could ask for those type of boundary, and I never thought compassion was a boundary. It's a healthy boundary,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So since then, Robert Seawright, who is like 7-time Grammy Award winning producer, he has been my client. David and Tamala Mann, which are the owners of Tilly Man Inc. Their enterprise, they hired me to really partner with them on organizational infrastructure and some branding, some updates, and to just be the project manager for all the things they have going on. In their enterprise, they have a film and television arm. Of course, they have the music arm, but then they also have an apparel line, the Tamala Man collection. Yes. So I get to, put my hands in a lot of different things just with their enterprise alone. Whether they're directing movies, producing her videos, yes. Writing her material, yes. Doing A&R work. That has been the highlight, and what a lot of executives are getting to know me for, as being one of the newest members of their team. But then on the flip side, being the artist manager, I have some influencers under the belt. Jay Ivory, who is the affirmations queen. Google my girl.
Affirmations queen. You know what's funny is I used to see her affirmations coming through my feed, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, everybody is posting this girl. Now I know.
Yes.
I know her already, right? Yeah. Never looked at the name. Like, oh yeah, that's really good. Mm-hmm. Then one day I was like, wait a minute. This is a whole thing. Like, but yeah, she is the affirmations queen.
Yes. And I mean, she's so creative. Mm-hmm. And then also, just like I have my newest media maven is Tammy Franklin. I mean, she is such a doll, but she's a powerhouse. She's an executive producer of a television show on TV One, called The One, where her and her husband are really like guides in a matchmaking journey for people to find love.
Dope.
So that is coming to you guys in May.
Oh, yay.
But just having oversight into her interactions as a businesswoman, as she's, entering into this space, this is just so dope,
It is. And I love to see wives transit, because she play her position well.
She
like, oh, I ain't tripping. But it's like, oh, but if I'm going to do it.
Yeah. See, the thing about Miss Tammy is like, Kirk is the intro.
Yeah.
But as soon as that door is open to meet Miss Tammy, or you fall in love with Miss Tammy.
Listen.
Yeah. So that's my girl. Like, she got that thing going on. And I think that this is her season to shine and be highlighted.
I love that. I mean? Yes, I love that.
It's pretty special to see.
I love that.
So I have like this diverse palette of clients. And of course, Red Hands You know, those are my guys. Like, those are my brothers.
Yeah, and they cold-blooded.
They are co-musicians. You know, we were raised around the Gap Band, y'all.
Baby.
Listen, we don't play no games about
when it comes to them
the Gap Band. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yes.
You say Charlie Wilson, what?
It's a rap. Like, yes. Yeah. And that joker sounds so good. He sounds so good today. Tone on just still sounds really strong. Like, yeah.
So, you know, Black Wall Street, all that, you know, a lot of people don't know. Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. Yes. That's what the Gap is for. That is a little triangle there in Tulsa. Like, that's our heritage. So we were centered around, it's in our DNA to have good music. And Red Hands
is they might as well be from Tulsa. Listen, because they are chilling,
right.
girl. That boy Johnny Collins, my husband, that man loves him some Red Hands band, baby.
Listen,
like, I love it.
And they're producers that, like, multifaceted, you know. One path that I have them on is, you know, of course they can be artists and they can put on shows, but you know, when you think about longevity and you want these guys to really be able to thrive in this space, then one of our goals was, you know, to partner them up, link them up with different type of collaborations so that we can get those publishing.
Because listen, that the publishing
coming in.
That's
now sound like Tisha.
Checkerations. Look, no, but that's because she will come up with a word. But that is the publish. That's a different type of
So
situation.
Now they're producing for others.
That's dope.
Different producers are seeing them as producers because they're developing this sound for others, which is, you know, how my relationship with Gene comes about with A&R and that project with Motown Gospel, and you know, having their influence on his album. It's just really just the right type of connection for a voice like Gene Moore. Lord have mercy, he's amazing. So that's what life is like, and the compassion that flows through a Tammy Franklin, a Kirk Franklin, David and Tam, Red Hands, Gene, like they really care about my well-being, and naturally I care about them. So it makes. It's like I've formed my own family, and we're all playing our part, you know, to build each other. They're feeding me in a way because I miss my family because they're no longer on this side of heaven, but I'm feeding them as well, you know, through, you know, taking care of them,
adding value both directions. That's
so
dope.
It works out.
Okay, so what do you think your most important skill is as in what you do? Like, what skill do you possess that makes you qualified or makes you really good or brings people towards you?
I would say knowing how to connect the dots, being solution based, not being discouraged easily. You know, if I hear no, I really don't hear no. I hear there's a different direction.
Yes.
Maybe it's not this path. Maybe it's not this time. But no doesn't mean no to me.
Got it.
So I think that makes me special. I also believe that what makes my relationships thrive in entertainment business is I actually believe in the clients that I have.
Right.
So I'm advocating for them all the time. I have several other artists that I manage, like Tatiana Barnett. She's a new artist based out of Houston.
Okay.
And I just believe in her. You know, I believe that she can be a triple threat. You know, just because you only hear music today doesn't mean that 10 years down the line you won't see her in movies, commercials, writing, or plays. You know, she's got that thing, that it factor.
Got it.
And so I just like that she wants to build and she wants to grow. So she's teachable. So we get to grow together because I'm forever a student.
Yes.
I'm not a know-it-all.
Right.
There's stuff I can still learn because there are places I haven't been yet. So I wanna grow with people at this stage before the blow up.
Yes.
Because then we'll be solid, you know, for
whatever. And it's always good to start. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Do you have a crazy management story, like, or a crazy situation that has happened with your company? You just be like a funny story or a story that's that you can share and not
Let's see. Well, okay. I'll say this. Managers have to be prepared for anything. I have had artists that have been on stage that have ripped their pants with no underwear on. I have had artists that have been arrested the day of a show. I have had I have had artists go through the wildest of things. But the best thing about it is that the artists that have had to endure those hardships, I've seen them rise to the occasion.
Got it.
And have the best type of showmanship, overcoming story. I've seen them do great, great things.
Got it.
Now, did it give me a coronary? Did it cause me to curse several words very loud?
Okay.
I'm soft spoken now,
right?
But it gets real sometimes.
Like you got to go to jail before the show, like
listen,
that, and you didn't split with no drawers on, baby,
and be up here with trying to find my garment.
Okay, like wrap that around
to like cover you
up.
Those things have happened. And then naturally I've had those standard things like you could be performing your good performance and the generator go out and you are now a cappella and sing for your life.
Sing for your life.
Let the Lord use you in the darkness because with a 1680 drive, I'm gonna need you to still be an artist. Listen, okay, carry this mantle on through. Some fun stories have been like being touring with Mary.
Okay.
And when Krista was a baby,
Krista,
like Erica would like do these little runs with Krista and it would be so cute. It'd be like, yeah. Like it would be the greatest thing. But just knowing that Krista is the fierce savage vocally that she is today.
Oh my goodness.
And when Erica and Tina were on the stage, their other sister was like the nanny. But every time they saw me, I would say, hey, Shama. So when they would see me pass, just imagine little girls at the highest peak of soprano. Shama. Like to this day, the Atkins, the Saints, call me Shama because that was the thing, man. But just seeing Krista grow and be confident and be just the bomb, savage, young, stunning girl that she is
so
right
pretty
now.
And brown and beautiful.
I just love
can sing her little behind off. Yes, like it's very interesting to see. Like just the fact that she's in college is like. How did this even happen? No, facts. You be like, because I'm in college, so surely you can't be in college.
And then Zay is like, nationwide.
Yes, all the things. It is. It's fascinating watching kids grow. Yeah, like because it is. It's crazy. Okay, so look, now we're gonna play a game.
Okay.
So we're gonna do this or that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, quick. It ain't nothing stressful.
Okay.
Stay in or go out.
What do I say?
You which one you want to do? Oh, which one would you prefer?
I was supposed to say this or that. My bad. Oh. So I say this or that. Say this
How do you know which one? No, which one? Yeah, so you said okay, so in. Say in. Okay, okay. Dress up or dress down?
Dress down.
Okay. Chicken or fish?
Fish.
Okay. Look, this ain't on here, but
and sometimes chicken, but fish.
Fish. Okay, so this is not on here, but if it's fish, is it fried or baked?
It gotta be fried.
It got to be fried.
It got to be.
Ooh, cake or pie?
Pie.
Okay. What's your favorite pie?
Probably some type of cheesecake but it needs to have a key lime essence. Ooh. The people of God talk about me
because
a
key lime.
Me and key lime get along.
Who is that little perfect little tart and little sweet? Yes. I love a good key lime. Some of y'all need to go to
Papa Do's because they got this little graham cracker situation and they got this raspberry drizzle. I'm just trying to bless you. Go ahead and get that.
Bless the people. Yeah. Okay, so IG or TikTok?
IG.
Okay. Airbnb or a hotel?
Hotel. I can't with some of the things I've seen at Airbnbs.
Oh, like I've done a few Airbnbs, but I'm a hotel girl. Like I feel safer. I always, not that it can't happen at a hotel, but I always feel like some people on this. What if they got cameras in that ceiling fan?
Yeah, like, and they do.
Yeah, and it stresses me a little bit because they can. Like something about that is creepy to me. Okay. Okay, so what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
To marry humility.
That's great. Expound on that.
Stay humble, because you know when you get low, you just don't have far to go. You know, you don't never need to, be so. You never know who's in the room,
right? So
to be anything prideful, in front of one person and be different in another, you never know who's talking. So you need to just be consistently humble, right? And you just get more. You just get further, when people want to be around you. Yeah. If you are sucking up all the energy in the room, or if you're high maintenance, it's very hard for the spaces that we're in. You won't get invited. You're black by yourself. So it's just better to just,
marry humility. That's
a relationship with humility.
Yeah, that's good. What is your best? Is that the same piece of advice you would give to people? Like, do you have anything you would probably say?
If you need that lesson on humility, I give it to you.
Right. Okay, but in general,
I would say words to live by would be somewhere in there. But always be gracious. As a lady, like you were saying, you use the word assertive. We get stereotyped with being very aggressive, angry and all that. But this industry requires a certain level of assertion. And so I just try not to make assumptions, and I don't really live in the space of, he said, she said. I'm somebody who, before I react, before I cry, before I laugh, I almost have to understand things. So you're going to have to talk to me a little more. Every story that you throw out, I will question that thing. I will peel back the layers.
Yes, you'd be like, because that's not measuring up to what my experience is. You do, and I try. That's very, very good. You do have to have on your thinking cap. With dealing with people, because
there's a lot of manipulation out here and a lot of ulterior motives. So you got to just be confident enough without insulting anyone, but just be equipped with the right type of conversation so you can always get to the truth, and then make your decisions from there.
Yes, great. I appreciate you so much for being here. I could do this all day.
I know.
Look, I'm trying to let you get to your flight.
Okay, before we go, Saints and Friends, I just have to say, I've been proud of you since the day you had to leave us in Tulsa and go live your life in the big city. When you invited me to the latest release of Whitney Houston's movie, Her Story, when she left, it hurt. Like, it hurt so bad. It hurt us all. And you were one of the first people that I thought about, because I know that you had a relationship with her. For you to even be in a space where she would trust you with lyrics and to even like demo something for her, it's like, wow, that has to be phenomenal for Toni to have those memories one-on-one and to have had that experience.
It was a phenomenal experience. And I have to give all that to Rodney. Because Rodney, I was a young kid. He was like, oh, we were all young at the time. We were getting in the game, teenagers, whatever. And it was in the movie, I was like, there was a scene in the movie where she said, she was having a conversation with her dad in a restaurant. She was frustrated. And she was like, essentially like, all of this is on me. Like, I'm paying for all of this, whatever. And kind of felt bogged down by people. It's like everybody's on my back, right? Yeah. And she was saying that she was carrying everybody. Yeah. And in that moment, I was thinking, even in death, she's carrying me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I feed You know what I'm saying? Like this is that's a you know what I mean? Like it's a lot to that. And so yeah, no, that's an incredible, but you're right. It was very hurtful.
Yeah.
When she died, like, what you mean?
Like not here.
Not here, right.
And then what was for me, like my closest opportunity to be near, like in her same air, Whitney Houston's same air, was just being a member of the Potter's House, and Bishop was executive producing. Now in a name. I did not turn this down.
You did, but it's okay. It's fine.
So we'll go back and start over.
You ain't even got to start all over. We can make it real and raw. Like,
but that would
we
be
got
good.
people. Yeah, no, it'll be good. It'll be fine.
But just being in her space and seeing their love for her, how they wanted her to win. You know, Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry. It was just like, wow. We all were rooting and praying for her and praying that every extension of her could be as holy or as, beneficial to her. Like, it was like we all fell in love and just wanted to just put a hedge of protection around her. So when I was singing with Kirk Franklin, we were doing Celebration of Gospel, one of the last Celebration of Gospels on BET. I used to love
Celebration of Gospel.
And it was a closed rehearsal, and they were telling us, we're going to have to close this, we're going to have to do this. And Kirk came and said, Whitney Houston is here, so we need y'all to sit down. If you want to see this rehearsal in the theater, you need to go sit down right now because they're going to lock the door. And when Kim Burrell came out, and I was sitting with my friend DeBette, when Kim Burrell came out and Whitney Houston came out, we wept. We were like, we could not believe we were in the room watching this rehearsal and their banter, their friendship.
Yes.
We could not believe it. We were literally
Were you
weeping,
just
like crying?
I was like that every time I ran into her, like, hey.
I did not. And Whitney had been to our shows before. Like when we were touring, she was in the audience when we were at the Atlanta Civic Center. And this was during the Hero Tour. She knew the lyrics to our song.
What?
She knew the lyrics to The Appeal. This was when Kirk had given all of us like a lead part.
Yes.
And she came backstage. And it was like all this ruckus. It was, we're in intermission trying to refresh and get ready for the next act. And Kirk was like dressing in his clothes. And I'm just like, is this really happening? Is that Whitney Houston? And she's from church, right? From the audience. Sing. Sing. Yes. Oh, that's my part. And we are just like,
oh my God! Is this
Houston? Lord have mercy. But that's the closest. Like, she's somebody that I was always just probably gonna draw back in the room. Like CeCe Winans does that to me. Like, I can't with CeCe Winans.
It's like
her anointing, the glow, the halo. I don't ever want to be common with CeCe Winans. If she was walking here right now, I would disintegrate.
Like, she just folded into that wall. Like, I just did. Her dress was still on the thing.
Do you hear me? It's like the throne room has entered the building. I can't.
The rapture just happened. Okay. They always say CeCe Winans saved for real.
No, like, seriously. Listen. I can't with CeCe Winans. Yeah. There's a standing joke. Like, if you want to get me stuck,
bring CeCe in.
Listen, Lord have mercy. Listen. I cannot.
And it is people like that where you just like, it's just something. It's just.
Yeah. But I have been proud of you speaking your name, saying your name.
Thank you.
Since that time, and just very, very proud. And you have carried yourself, because you could totally be that person that could be arrogant, could be, that will leave the past in the past and not even look to reconnect with any of your relationships from Tulsa, or, you could be any way, but you've always been loving, kind,
Thank you.
And then, our family has been connected through marriage
and stuff. Tulsa ain't there, but somebody gonna marry somebody. Like, it's just,
And it's funny because when I speak to Warren and Warren is like, wait, you know Toni? Like, oh, you know Toni.
Yeah,
like,
Toni.
you know Toni. And I'm like, yeah, that's fam.
Yes.
And just for that to even make our bond with the Campbells even stronger, just because that's, you all are very, very close.
We are.
You know, when they discovered that I knew you,
It's
I just
like,
think they embraced
Toni
me even
so
more.
you from like they are. They're I love them. They've done so much for me, and it's interesting to cross paths. It's just interesting. It's like you from when you start connecting the dots. It's like, how does all of this work? It's amazing. I think it's a God thing. So I appreciate you saying that, because although, you know, career things are super important to me, being good to people and loving people is really, really, really super. I want everybody to feel special. Yeah. I feel like that's my superpower. Like, I want everybody like, no, you are important. Like, I've done this or they've done that, but you are just as important as everybody else. So I appreciate you seeing that and feeling like I was genuine and kind, because for sure you are genuine and
I mean, but it just comes out of you naturally. Anytime we're in a room, like even when we went to the South by Southwest and we were at the Grammy block party, you didn't hesitate to introduce me to the president of that chapter and make the connection, because he's from Tulsa too. Yeah. So it was just like, you know, I see you just don't hesitate to speak my name to those that are important or influential. Yeah. And I don't hesitate to do it for you, because I know where we came from.
Listen, you know Turley. What I'm saying? Okay. 54.
Listen, now if we could just get Janice Bayou to come hang out with us, because if we not videoing or filming or taking pictures, she don't believe it happened. Like, but she's very proud of us. We love you. Yes,
Janice. I tell my kids that all the time. It was so, we used to have so much fun. Like, it was a fun time. Yes. So thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Thanks for giving the people some real information about the job and how it's not easy, and how being good to people and consistent and following through is like, it don't just happen. And, you know, I feel like sometimes now it's like people don't get the meat of it. It's like you get the picture. It's like, you know, I do all these photo ops where it's like, I was at Motown, not really knowing like, dang, but it's gonna have to be some work that has to happen after that, and it's not gonna be all glamorous. And
one thing I'll say to artists now is sometimes when I'm having challenges with them and I'm having to motivate them to like redirect them to get focused, I'm like, even the best of the best, the people that you admire, work harder than you in this moment. And they know what it's going to take. And that's going to be the difference between you and them. Yes. A lot of people, you know, they have their things to say about, you know, Kirk Franklin winning all of these awards on a regular basis. But I don't even hesitate to, I hesitate to jump the gun with those type of conversations, because it's not just that his name is recognizable. Kirk Franklin works his tail off.
That's obvious. And unless you just don't get it at all, there's no way that you can not know that.
He does. I mean, that man is like constantly, you know, right now he's navigating at least 3 projects that I know about simultaneously. I don't know every single thing, but he's got a lot on his plate, but he's always treated it with honor. The people that want to collaborate with him keep coming back because he respects their time, their money, their energy, and he knows that you could go to somebody else. But since you're here, I'm about to give you 100%. David and Tamala Mann are very, very similar. They are the hardest working people. Like, when I managed their schedule, and I literally said to them, oh, you've only been working 2.5 years straight.
You be like, when do you take naps?
Can you just go and be away? But a David Mann will sit there and be like, I gotta take care of everyone. You know, he's a dad, he's a father. that part of him that probably is deep rooted to his childhood,
right,
wants to make sure everybody's straight.
yes,
Kirk the same way. Like, so when new artists get frustrated with like a makeup artist, or I'm like, girl, you better learn how to do your makeup yourself.
Listen,
you don't need glam.
Yeah.
You need your fingers on your face.
Yep.
And you have to grow into those spaces.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that I'm in, close proximity where I can share, their work ethic, their stories, so that they can humble themselves and get to work, because it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. So
yeah,
but I appreciate that, and I know you get that.
Yo,
I know
I
you
get it. I get
So
it. Yeah,
we can talk about that all day.
Listen, don't be discouraged. She's giving you the cheat codes right now. Like it's very much so. It's everything she said is real.
I won't lie.
So yes, again, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming. And we gotta have you back at some point when you don't have a flight to get on every 2 days. Thank you, love you, faith.
I appreciate you so much. This is so much fun.
Yes,
thank you. I feel
for
honored to be here. I have graced the couch with the pillows. I'm looking like a good old AK, but I am a Delta. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Okay. All right. Let's be very clear.
Okay. Thanks, y'all. We will see y'all next time. Bye.